Since my camera broke, I just want to give you guys an update. Subframe, I removed it yesterday, and I've already stripped it down of everything we're gonna need to transfer over to the new unit. So this is the subframe that's been in the car since I built it 6 years ago. Had to clearance the subframe a ton to clear big tube header, and 6 years of straight thrashing. No cracks visible whatsoever. The important thing is when you modify something as structural as a subframe, please weld it back together. If you look, fully welded across, all the way welded the seams back together, and this thing has been holding up. But the reason why I'm taking this thing apart and replacing it is because of all the engine rocking have bent the subframe over time. So if you look, bowed down a lot. And then the new unit, straight as an arrow. So yeah, before I throw in the new unit, I need to strip all of this down, primer, a good coat of paint, reinstall all the components, and then the subframe will go back into the car. Subframe, most of the rust has been taken off with the wire wheel on the grinder, and I just made this L bracket tab support for the K-swap bracket, which is that guy right there, and it's all welded in, looks good. And I spent a cool minute bending this thing straight again because it was pretty tweaked, but I got it all straightened out now, and this should have some extra support for when it goes back into the car. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. You guys may have noticed the quality of video is a little bit different, and the reason for that is because I am filming off my iPhone 13 Pro because the GoPro is no longer in service. Now, you guys may have seen the previous video where I talked about, you know, not being motivated in a sense to continue filming for YouTube. Granted, the channel's downfall currently, and I've been trucking. I've been trying to keep up with it. I've been trying to continue doing this how I've always been. But a couple of days ago, I came out here. I was trying to film some progress on the KRX, and it literally took about an hour to do the intro because the GoPro kept having SD card error, and it did it for about an hour, and I probably filmed about 20 different intros, and I just wasn't having it because it kept having the error code. So I went through 4 different memory cards, Ultra Plus, Gold, and no matter how many times I formatted it to the GoPro like factory reset, it kept having SD card error. So I was like, you know what? Try to keep it short and simple. So I started filming, you know, pulling out the subframe, prepping the new one, and like, you know, the whole process of getting it all ready to go back into the car. And I've gotten to the point where I kind of snapped a little bit. Not a common thing with me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't let the smallest thing get to me, but I was already on this like edge. And when it had the SD card error the last time, I chucked my GoPro into the wall. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I chucked it into the wall. I completely broke it. I tried putting it back together because I felt terrible, and it's RIP. It doesn't even work anymore. So I don't have a GoPro to film, you know, moving forward right now, and I don't want to use my Canon G7X because I've already broken 3 of those, and the 4th one that I have, I kind of only use it for like event coverages where I'm not wrenching or it's sitting on a tripod or whatever the case may be. And I realized that I have a GoPro Hero 13. Shout out to one of you who sent this to the PO box. This was actually a father-son camera that you guys no longer use, and I was also using this camera for like the same reason I used the Canon G7X for vlogging and stuff only. Although it has a cage, you know, shout out Brian, although it has a cage, I know it won't take as much impact as, you know, falling off a tripod like this one was. This one was beaten up because of how many times it, you know, had tipped over and such. But when I received the GoPro, I didn't receive it with a charger, so both the batteries are dead, and it's been charging for like an hour and a half now on my Milwaukee battery adapter. And I have a charger on the way tomorrow, just so we can have like full charge battery at all times. But it's currently 7 o'clock because I've been trying to rig up something to mount the GoPro on top so I can film while it's charging. But I'm drawing a blank right now, so I decided to just use my phone instead. So today I'm gonna keep it simple because I don't want to like fill up my phone with a bunch of small big clips. I'm gonna keep it super simple today, guys. Today's goal is to put the K20z1 back into the KRX and whatever turbo components I can install with that. Since my GoPro doesn't work anymore, I have been making a ton of progress off camera, and I was waiting for one more item to show up before actually putting the engine back into the car, and that showed up today. Let's start right here in the engine bay. I pulled off the old subframe that was super bent. This one I got from the junkyard a couple of months ago, and I prepped all the rust that was on there from the old car that leaked a bunch of brake fluids on here. You can kind of see the pittings, but I can assure you guys this was all bare metal. I also made the L bracket support for the Hasport K mount, this guy here, and we should have some extra strength. And along with that, I'm also going to build a fourth mount for the block transmission side when the engine's back into the car. So after prepping all of this, I did etch primer on the metal, and then I did 1K primer and then semi-gloss black, looking really good. And I also took off a bunch of like wiring that was like all over the engine bay because I'm going to redo a lot of that, and the engine bay itself should be ready to rock and roll. Now the fuel pressure regulator is sitting on the tower now, where it used to sit on the fuel rail before. And if you guys paid attention, I had a blue fuel rail. So when I swapped out the eBay manifold on here and took off the RBC, which I'm keeping for the blue car, I swapped this, and I had to swap the injectors out from the RDX to the ID 2000s, and I figured I wanted to swap out the fuel rail from the blue to the black. So I have two of them. I have a blue one here, which looked nice on the KRX with the old valve cover, but the new valve cover I'm going to do for this car doesn't kind of work with the blue. So I went to the black one and added a fuel pressure gauge, and I also decided to keep the K-tune harness on here. And I'm going to figure out a new harness for this car when it's time to shine again. The stock flywheel is on here and not the ACT Light one, which is right there. And I also installed the Action Stage 3 6-puck along with the EP3 transmission and the Max Penrod LSD. So this entire ordeal is ready to go back into the car. But the reason why I've been putting it off is because for the 1050 index, you need a scatter shield, a containment for your flywheel in case any catastrophic happens. I was waiting for this package to show up, and it showed up today. PLM K2024 transmission scatter shield. So we're going to unbox this. We're going to install it on the trans, and then we're going to get all of this back into the car. Let's get to it. Okay, so my tripod legs are super loose, so it doesn't even stand when I have the phone on horizontal. So we're just gonna do this with one hand, guys. Cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. Now this piece came in super fast because if you guys don't know, PLM is kind of local to me. They're from San Francisco, which is like 45 minutes. So I literally ordered this one day later and it showed up. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was trying to attempt to make this myself, and I went to go find material, but they didn't have the thickness in stock, and my local supply shop for metal has shut down. So instead of like trying to outsource or drive to a different city to find material, I just ordered one from PLM. So it comes with the hardware. PLM is a two-piece design. I was going to get one from Jack Cartel, but I want the ease accessibility of everything like on the front half of the engine. So having it as a two-piece makes it convenient for like, you know, removing it for whatever reason. So I think, I'm not sure, but this might be the top because these two bolts are close together. So transmission belt housing bolts right there. Okay, this might be the top. And then this one bolts to that. And you can install this after because we don't have the clutch slave on. It's currently sitting right there. And that hump is for the clutch slave. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this onto the transmission. And I mean, I'm hoping that it doesn't interfere with my wastegate because that's kind of about where it sits. So if anything, I might have to modify this back piece right here. So I have the first half of the scatter shield installed right there with 2 of the 17 bell housing bolts. And I threw the turbo manifold on. The wastegate is kissing on it right there. Right there. So if I cut back maybe an inch, it will clear it. And I believe my wastegate banjo's on the top and the other one's on the bottom. So I still have access to those if need be. But I'm gonna have to trim about an inch of this, which I think is not gonna like really alter, you know, how this is supposed to work. So a little update before I get too far ahead of myself. The K20z1 is installed and I got the rear mount installed as well too. All secured. The engine is pretty solid, right? Compared to the last subframe where it was like rocking. Literally same motor mounts. But I am still gonna make a front mount when I have the material to do so and when the traction bar is back on. So right now, before I decide I'm gonna throw the turbo kit on, I'm going to install just the driver's side axle, not into the spindle because I have to do something with the spindle later. I have to go pick up my slicks and see if the spindle is going to work with the Bogart 13s, but I'm going to stick the axle in. The other side has a half shaft and I want to fill the transmission through the speedo hole, install the speedo if I can find one, and then we can do the turbo kit because once everything is in place, that's going to be really hard to get to. And then from there, we'll move forward with whatever else we can install tonight. To be honest with you guys, really don't like using my phone to do videos because of how awkward it is to hold it. You guys know what I'm talking about when you're holding your phone, trying to record something. Especially because my tripod is not really working right now, but I really don't like filming with my phone. I love the quality of it, but I don't like filming with my phone. But sometimes you have to make do with what you got. All right, that is set into place. I wanted to run Torco RTF or MTF, but I don't have any. So synchro mesh, Valvoline synchro mesh will do for now. 2 quarts, 2 full quarts. Send it. I decided to rob the Max solenoid from my blue sedan because all the lines are already routed for this turbo setup, and I have another one for the blue car, brand new one, so I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna install it like this right now because once the turbo manifold and everything goes into place, it's hard to reach these guys. So it's secured. Let's go ahead and put the turbo kit on. So I decided to just continue tomorrow because I was so focused on working from the back of the turbo, the firewall, moving forward, and it's like 10:30 right now, and I need to go edit a video. But another reason why I need to continue tomorrow is because while I was working on everything and getting lost in the sauce, I was like, shoot, I need to test fit the bottom half of the scatter shield. It interferes right here to my custom water pipe. Let me show you guys. I have the hose in the way and the line, but this piece sits in front of the transmission like that. And my water pipe is custom because with the turbo setup, I decided to keep the heater core, and my water pipe has been moved down here, right? This part, and it hits right here to where I cannot bolt up the two holes. So if you look really quickly, it's like hitting it. I mean, it's hard to tell, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? So I need to trim like 1/4 of an inch right here, take this piece off, and then it should like give me enough wiggle room to fit. Not gonna lie to you guys, I got home a little while ago. Sun's already starting to set a little bit here. It's 7 o'clock, and I drove around today, went to the parts store, went to the PO box, went to Best Buy, got a new memory card for the Hero 13, got some food as well too, ate, and got lost in the sauce with YouTube. But I came out here to, before I got started on the scatter shield, I jacked up my blue car. I took off the downpipe setup, and I have it installed in the car right now. I didn't realize the downpipe to the exhaust system is a 3-bolt flange and not a V-band, so I'm kind of up in the air about converting it over to V-band or leaving it as a 3-bolt flange, which I actually don't have another flange for the KRX since the flange is on the current exhaust system on the blue sedan. So I want to show you guys really quickly. I don't know how to turn this thing around. Downpipe is installed, and it actually fits really well. Even though it was made for all-wheel drive V-band, I was able to clock it a little bit to go straight to the exhaust system that's on the KRX, and I just need to make about a foot extension right there to the exhaust. But right now, before I get to the scatter shield, I'm gonna go ahead and put the dump tube on right here. So here's a better look on the PLM scatter shield to my heater pipe. So this bottom one right here, this tab, goes into that hole underneath the clutch sleeve, and then this whole top section bolts up right there, right? So if I line it up somewhere there, you can see this whole top section is hitting my water pipe, and I do eventually want to run a heater in this car. So I'm going to leave the water pipe into place, and I'm going to modify the bracket. So it looks like in order for the oval hole to get to the tab, we are off like I probably want to say 1/4 of an inch. So if you look, it's hitting right here. I need to cut a little bit of that off. And then if you look at the hole in line with the water pipe right here, you can see that we have all of this space, but I'm not going to cut the whole thing. I'm just going to cut like a U to clear the heater pipe, just so it can slip in, you know what I mean? So I'm going to make some marks real quick, and we're just going to trim this until we get it to fit, because I really don't want to take off a lot of material. So this is a rough marking. I'm going to trim it out and see how it fits. You guys hear the crickets? I'm not even going to lie. The front half of the PLM bracket, I trimmed, and we're still not fitting just yet. And I have the bottom tab fully bolted down. So that means the tab is flushed and flat on the transmission mounting point, right? Secured. And tell me why it's freaking crooked. You guys see that? It's not even aligned. So the tabs might have been welded a little crooked, which is why it's kicking out this bracket quite a bit. It looks like I could make it fit though. So I'm gonna trim these corners down just a little bit more right here, because with the 17 mil loose, this actually hits the pipe when I swing it in. So I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit more. I'm gonna loosen up the 17, swing it in, secure these 2 bolts, and then tighten that down and see if this entire bracketry would align at least. So a little bit more trimming to go. So I trimmed that back section right there, another 1/4 inch, and we are cleared. We are cleared on the pipe on the top and the bottom. I mean, I could have cut off that nub right there or made the curvature fit around the water pipe, but just to simplify it, I literally cut them in squares, and now it clears, right? I think, yeah, it clears. And I snugged down this 17 right here, and the bracket is installed. It didn't seem like it pulled too much, which is okay. And this right here, I could change the line, but I think I'm gonna slightly bend this a little bit, and this swivels, so I might tuck it underneath there and come out this way, because by the looks of this hump right here, I think we're gonna cut really close to the fan for the radiator. But if I offset the fan more towards the passenger side and use this area, I think I should be okay. But we'll figure that out when we get the radiator shipped in, because I ordered a new one, and we're not gonna be using the Chase Bay unit right there anymore, because that thing is super thick. And with the fans, it takes up a lot of space, especially if I want to keep the intercooler from poking out too far into the bumper. So scatter shield done for the most part, but I am going to take it back off to put some paint on all the open metal, and also put the 2 washers right here. I will say that these Allen bolts are steel, but they feel really cheap. So I'm going to change it out to some actual stainless steel. Hopefully I got some in the same thread pitch, and then reinstall this for the final time. Parts are put away, tools are put away, the PLM scatter shield installed. I painted it truck bed liner just to kind of have that same wrinkle, since I don't have any more wrinkle black, and it looks good. Looks good. Washers are installed, and I did reinstall the coolant upper neck right here, and also rerouted this line because this one was interfering with the bracket and the water pipe that goes to the back. You can kind of see that little bullet right there. Yeah, that bullet shell. It's actually welded shut. I just kind of threw it on there for, like, you know, a little accessory. But anyways, got that rerouted. Got this hose installed as well too, and this is bolted on for the last time. It's crazy to say, man. KRX is boosted. This thing was supposed to be boosted in 2023 when I sold the red CRX, but you know, this car kind of took everything, and granted, you know, we have the opportunity to upgrade that car. We have a chance to boost this car. So turbo kit, transmission, long block, scatter shield, all installed, axles, fluids, everything is in. The spindles are not installed right now because I'm going to be pulling these off when I test fit my Bogarts to see if they fit or not. I read online that people do fit 13-inch Bogarts over Integra brakes and spindles if you use spacers. And if I use spacers, I want to upgrade the lug nuts to ARPs. And I do have 2 more packs, 8 total. I sold 2 to the homie Jose with the CB7 Accord. So if it fits over the spindle, the slicks, I'll take off the spindles and upgrade the studs to ARPs. But yeah, dude, we've done a lot. We've done a lot. This thing is actually almost ready to fire over. Just a few things I need to do before I do all of that, which is the fuel line coming in, fuel line going out to the regulator, now remote mounted. And also, I don't have the charge harness on the K20z harness because it's still in that car. So I got to build a new charge harness and then secure the power cable from the alternator to the starter right there. But we're not that far. We are not that far, and I'm stoked about it. In the next day or so, we should be able to hear this thing breathe. The garage is closed, guys, and we are wrapped up here in the garage. But before we cap out this video, we have a few items we need to unbox with you guys really quickly, and I'm sure these are the last few pieces we need before we schedule a dyno tune for the silver sedan and the turbo CRV. This package right here was sent over from the homie Matt. If you guys remember Matt, he came down with the homie Ronald McDonald a couple of years ago when we boosted the EK, and Matt is a Subi guy. He has a Subaru that makes a good amount of power, and he was actually running these Hunter Tune 1500cc injectors, and his tuner said something about these injectors don't really work well with the Subi platform, so he opted to go back to the 1000cc that was in the car before. And he was like, if you need these injectors, I'll send them out. So big shout out to Matt, because he sent over these 1500cc injectors from Hunter Tune. And if you guys have been on the channel, we ran these in Ronald McDonald, we ran these in Project Blueberry, and we don't have any issues with them. These were actually tuned in Matsubi. Literally took them out a couple of days ago, bagged them up, shipped them out to me, which I received yesterday. So I know these work, but I will flow them before I throw them into the silver sedan. So shout out to Matt for these Hunter 1500s. We have injectors to play around with horsepower if we want to. This package right here is from the homie Brian from BRFITTINGS. This is like my local go-to guy for fuel system related stuff. And these are, I believe, the boost controller. I ended up ordering a boost controller from him because it's really hard to find genuine Mac solenoids on the interweb these days. And I always bought mine from him anyways. So right here, I ordered a, let me see, this is the 4-port. So right here we have, this is a really strong bag. We have a 4-port Mac solenoid. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Vacuum in, top gate, bottom gate, filter. So we have this right here for, this was actually for the KRX, and this is now for the blue car because we robbed the boost controller from the blue car for the KRX. And this is going to be on standby for when we put the blue car back together. Comes with the connector as well. Freaking awesome. Also in this package, we have the fuel injector connector. These are OBD2 to EV6 for the Hunter Tune injectors for the turbo CRV. I don't want to wire the pigtails directly into his harness. I got these adapters for him just for whatever reason we go back to the stock injectors. We don't have to clip the injector harness again to, you know, go back to OBD2. So shout out to Brian for throwing these in. I'm actually waiting for another boost controller to come in, which is a 3-port Mac solenoid, because we don't need to go 4-port for the turbo CRV. So the other one is still on the way. It should have been here today, but I don't know where the package is at. This package right here I picked up from the P.O. box today. This was shipped in from the homie Brian, J-Works. We all raced together in the last couple of years. He has the EJ1 Coupe with the K series, and he was actually in the live stream the other day with a ton of you guys, and I was talking about, you know, keeping the KRX pump gas or going E85, or should I do a flex fuel sensor, because I still drive this car down to SoCal and back, which is like round trip 1,000 miles. And Brian was like, well, I got a flex fuel sensor sitting in my toolbox, and if you can use it, I'll send it. So inside here, cut away from yourself and not towards the wires, because, ooh, check this out. It was protected by a microfiber rag. Lucky we didn't cut into the components. But anyways, inside here we have 2 tube adapters to -6 for the flex fuel sensor, because we're going to be running AN lines in the KRX. We have the flex fuel sensor wrapped in this foam right here. I'll open it in just a second. We have the pigtails for the flex fuel sensor, and 2 Allen hardware. Right here we have the flex fuel sensor itself. Ooh, I was wondering what the Allen key bolts were for. It's got this nice little bracket on here. So this is a flex fuel sensor, and the pigtail goes on here. Pretty simple to wire up into Honda, and I'm sure I'll, you know, take you guys along when we wire this up and route everything into our new fuel system we're going to build probably tomorrow. There's a reason why I robbed everything from the blue sedan and stuffed it into the KRX. The entire setup had already been tuned on 91 octane, and if I keep everything just about the same with minor mods, we could take the car back to the dyno. My tuner can fine-tune the 91 octane without spending too much time on it, and then we can switch over to E85 while we're there, tune the E85 map, and then with the help of the flex fuel sensor, blend the 91 and E85 maps together for when I'm on road trips or I'm in a predicament where there's no E85. I can put 91 in, the flex fuel sensor will detect the you know, the ethanol content, and then, you know, adjust the map accordingly and be able to drive safely. So big shout out to Brian for the flex fuel sensor, the plug, the fittings, and the mounting bracket right here. Pretty, I thought the camera was over there. Pretty cool mounting bracket right here. And he also threw in a Crystal Light water enhancer, because you guys know I love drinking water with flavor. Drinking water is healthy. I'm trying to be healthier, but drinking plain ass water gets boring sometimes. Crystal Light right there. I already got my blend going on. Race gas for the human body. But anyways, man, big shout out to Brian. Thank you so much for that. I am going to wrap up the video right here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the progress update on the KRX. Engines in place, turbo kit partially installed, and we're that close to firing this car over. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for more progress update on the KRX, getting this thing turned on, back on the floor, boosted officially, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.